This series by Iman Gadzhi might be the best series ever uploaded on YouTube, and I genuinely mean it. Iman managed to turn a 2.5-hour talking head video into a masterpiece. But how did he do this? That's exactly what I'm going to teach you in this video. I will be telling you 7 secret tricks Iman uses to keep you watching throughout this series, and which you can implement too. Let's start off this video by telling you what Iman did before ever uploading the first episode, and that was to build hype around the series. Iman knows exactly how to build hype around certain videos, and this series was no different from that. He uploaded a trailer a couple days prior to the release of episode 1, and I'm gonna be completely honest, the trailer was one of the best edited videos I've ever seen in my life, and that's a perfect way to build hype around your videos. You might not be the best editor, but by blowing the viewer's mind somehow, this could be by the value of information presented in the video, or the creativity that went into the shots and storyline of the video will build hype around your videos. Moving on to the second trick, which is very important for anyone that makes talking head videos, and is to use stock footage and clips throughout your video. But pay attention now, you shouldn't just find random clips outside of context and put it in the video hoping that the viewer won't click off, because that's the furthest thing from doing this trick right, but rather make it make sense. Look at this clip for instance and try to analyze how Iman does it.
No, you see, it lends out almost all of it to make a profit on the interest rates, and that's how banks make money. And one man was able to save New York banking almost single-handedly. His name? JP Morgan.
Every single one of these shots were put there for a reason. He starts talking about how the banks make money and proceeds to show a bank and money going up. Then he shows JP Morgan, which is what the clip is there for. He's gonna transition the viewer to the next part of the video, which is about JP Morgan. And talking about transitions, this video is sponsored by no one. I had to put that in. But actually though, talking about transitions, the third trick is having a structured storyline. What I mean by this is to have the video make sense in a chronological order, or to have every point in the video build up for the climax. This is somehow contradicting what I just said now, because Iman went back in time multiple times in this series. But what was the second thing I said? To have every point in the video build up for the climax, and that's exactly what he did. Every time he went back in time, it was just another way for him to explain the story easier and to transition to the next point, which would lead the viewer to the climax of the video. I almost missed this trick, but it's to remind the viewer to continue watching. But he didn't just tell you, hey, continue to watch the video. He did this differently. Take a look.
The Federal Reserve. And this was one of the biggest turning points for the puppet master's control over the money in history. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But first, let me tell you why the creation of the Fed required such a secretive meeting in the first place.
But telling the viewer that you're gonna come back to a point is a genius way, and also a subtle way of saying, I have something that you want, but you're gonna have to continue to watch the video to find out what it is. I want to point out an obvious trick, and it's to synthesize. You might not know what that is, so I'll let Hamza explain it.
So a synthesizer is kind of like someone who takes, let's make it like this. You right now are watching a bunch of videos. You're watching podcasts, YouTube channels, you're reading books, you're consuming Twitter and stuff, right? You would be a synthesizer if you took that knowledge that you were getting from all these different sources and packaged it together to help someone with a specific problem.
Iman did this perfectly. He spent 6 months finding all the information and put that together. In other words, he synthesized it and made it into a series. This will always work because anyone would rather listen to someone talk about a certain topic than researching it themselves. Okay, you've hopefully understood the last 5 tricks, but how can you actually get the viewer hooked from the start? Well, by foreshadowing the climax of the video, which in this case is the secret organization that controls 95% of the world's GDP.
A secret organization that controls 95% of the world's GDP?
But why did I put this trick so late in the video? Well, it's actually for a good reason. All the previous tricks are supposed to be implemented before ever recording the intro itself. This might just be me, but I like to make the intro last, because I can spend more time making the best intro possible, but also because I could use foreshadowing because I already know what I'm gonna talk about later in the video. Side note, it is important to talk about something interesting when foreshadowing, but don't lie. Don't give the viewer false expectations if you can't deliver a good climax. At that point, foreshadowing might not be for you. I could mention tons of psychological tricks Iman used in this series that kept you watching, but I've already made a video on my channel on the psychological tricks Hamza uses to keep you watching, so you can check that out after watching this video. But the last trick I will tell you about is to build a connection and friendship with the audience, because at the end of the day, the best way you'll ever keep someone watching is if they're interested in you and your content. Value over entertainment. Remember that. Thank you for watching and bye.